Good afternoon, Clark Tribe.
Good afternoon, Rhonda.
How y'all doing?
We are doing well.
All is well.
It's so good to see you. For our viewers, my friends Mark and Annette are coming to us from
Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm in the Maryland, Delaware metro area. And how did Tennessee and Maryland how did we meet?
We met years ago through mutual friends and travel.
Yes.
Because if you want to expand and you want to be an interesting person, then you need to travel. So that's how we found you, and you're interesting and you expand people's awareness. So we met through travel and mutual friends.
Down on the coast.
Down on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, yeah. And since then, we're more like family than friends. So right. I'm very grateful that you were brought to me. In July of this year, I launched a nonprofit organization called Allies for Justice. And we are focusing on FAME, facilitating, advocating, mediating, and educating, whatever that may look like. As part of the F in FAME, we would like to facilitate courageous and crucial conversations that are sometimes difficult. But today, I would like to launch our first episode with my amazing friends, the Clarks, by asking you a question. Is that okay?
Yes.
Most definitely.
Go ahead.
One thing I've learned is when sometimes I use I don't go on Snapchat that often, but man, you can put on some of those filters and it's like, whoo, I look amazing. But then when I go to a regular mirror, I'm like, oh, I don't really look like I did in that Snapchat filter. So what I'm hoping to do is open up myself and let you look at my reflection and tell me what you see in a true, authentic fashion. So in that spirit, I would like to ask you to give me 3 ways that I can be a better ally.
Well, I think for you, if I say you, I think for
you could be
anybody, okay?
Anybody.
You know, because thinking about you is totally different from thinking about, people as a whole.
Because
I could be a placeholder. Either way you want to go with it.
You are a great ally.
Okay. The 3 things that we see that needs to take place in this environment that we're living in right now.
In these
2020.
Right.
2020, in case anybody's watching it later. 2020.
Is that we want people, and if I can specifically say white people that we know.
Okay.
To do 3 things.
Okay.
And that is to speak up, to make it clear to us, Black friends or whoever it is whatever it is that you want to call us, make it clear where you stand, and then what's that last one, baby?
Find a way to contribute to the issues in a way that's meaningful and that's healing. That can be something tangible. It can be monetary, it can be service, but it needs to be something that you actually do. And another point on that first one about speaking up, we need people with a voice. We need people with privilege and position to speak up more frequently and loudly. We find that a lot of people speak up late and after the fact, and then they don't speak very loudly.
Or they'll speak right when something happened and you hear from them no more, or they go silent. And I think people feel that just saying that one thing so we can see that I did say something. You know, they feel like that's enough, but it really isn't. Because to me, that's just putting on it's almost like putting on a front. You know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do just enough, if that makes sense.
It does.
And speaking up loudly, if I can use an example.
Please, yes.
Okay, last week there was a leaked conversation between the 45th president's sister and a niece. And in that conversation, the sister made a whole bunch of statements about character. Very important things to know about a person's character. And actually, she has never spoken up, and she didn't speak loudly. Someone taped and recorded it, and they released it. But there were things about character. There were things about morality that if those things were stated by people with voices, people with influence, people with privileges, it would make a difference. Often, we're fortunate enough to be able to share your voice because your position and your knowledge and your association with these social issues carry weight. And fortunately, we're able to share that in times, but a lot of people aren't willing to share their voice. And it would be very important if you would speak up more frequently and loudly. That's the number one. Number two, make it clear where you stand with people, minorities, Black people. You know, make it clear. And one of the points about that, recent events, the shooter, there was a GoFundMe for the most recent shooter, the young guy, the 17-year-old young man. And the church, Christians, have raised over $100,000 for his defense. Okay, now the fact is, he doesn't pose a defensible position. And the people who are agreeing with his actions and defending his actions are people who, before this quarantine and this pandemic, these are people we were sitting next to in service. These were people who we thought were our brothers and our sisters, but we didn't know where we didn't know which side they actually stood on. Now we do. And that's disappointing. It's not that you shouldn't be able to have an opinion and hold a position, but if your position is such that it's damaging to my existence and my livelihood and how I do business, then let me know. Let me know, and I can make sure that we keep some distance and I don't get entangled with you in friendship and fellowship and in family, and you really don't have my best interests at heart. So the second one is make it clear where you stand with us, so we'll know who's for us and who's against us. And the third way, where we're talking about make a contribution in a way that promotes social healing, find a way to help. There's so many ways to help. Discrimination has been systemic. Discrimination has been institutionalized, so that racism and the discrimination because of racism has been systemic. And because of that, a lot of people like me have suffered quietly and not knowing. A lot of people like me have been discriminated with housing, with loans and finance and commerce. And so they aren't able to do certain things that they would have been able to do. So sometimes, to help balance that, people who have a voice, people who have a way to help or make a difference, if they would do that, actually, if you would actually do something you wouldn't have to say so much, you know. So those are three things that we think would make a big difference in this conversation that some people find uncomfortable. And it's not about blaming. It's not about holding anybody responsible. That's not what it's about. It's about being aware of what the facts of our position in this society is.
Wow. So they say there's three things. I'm going to have to watch this again and digest it. That was beautiful. They say there are three things happening in every conversation. What you said, what I heard, and what you meant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to repeat the 3 points back to you and make sure I have what you meant understood and conceived before we sign off. So the first one was what?
Speak up louder and more frequently.
Speak up louder and more frequently. So what that looks like to me is speak up louder. If I see an issue, what does that look like to me as me?
It means that when you see injustice, when you see things that aren't right, when you see things that are come from hate, racism, and discrimination, speak out against it. Say it's not right. Just say it and use whatever platform you have, whether it's social media, whether it's a mic, a podium, a pulpit. Speak loudly when you see it. And then do that frequently, because these situations are frequent. So there's a lot of opportunities to speak loudly and frequently.
Well, they're frequent if you open your eyes. If you close your eyes and keep your head in the sand, you don't see them. So, but you're right. If you look, if you open your eyes, they are more frequent than we would like to admit. So I really appreciate that. Speak loudly and what's the word?
More frequently.
Loudly and more frequently. I'm going to get it. Number 2.
Number 2 was make it clear where you stand with the people, and especially the people in your life, you know, because we know people. We know white people. We know people that are of different races. But a lot of times when things come up like this, they're quiet. But if you say you love me, you care about me, then you care about what I care about. Right. And I care about my people. I care about every time, excuse me, every time one of us, I don't care if I know them or not, we are connected in a way that I really cannot explain. Mm-hmm. But every time one of us loses our life to injustice, I'm not talking about if something is, you know, if you commit a crime and, you know, that type of thing. Right. But I'm talking about to pure and sure and evident injustice. That it every time it just takes something and inside of me sinks. And it's like somebody said, I'm not just tired, I'm exhausted. And it takes a minute, because I have to say we are some push through people, in which we've had to push through this for so long, for so many years, for so many decades of our lives. But we still try to push through and come through. But one thing that we know is this is not going to just change because we say something or we raise a flag or we walk the streets. It's not going to happen because this is not something that we created.
Right.
We didn't do this.
Right.
We didn't come up with racism. We didn't come up with discrimination and slavery years ago. We didn't do that. So it's going to take people like you, Rhonda. You know, it's going to take white people to undo what the white system has created because we didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Right. I do. And I appreciate you sharing those thoughts. And the second point was to
make it clear.
Make it clear. And I guess being silent is making it clear. But do you need more than silence, or are you saying silence is you're making it clear?
You're making it clear, because if you're silent, and again I go back to the fact that you know people like Well, because it is a black and white issue. Let's just get that straight.
Right.
Okay. So when we're in relationship with people who are white and they tell us that they love us, they care for us, we're family, we're this, we're that. But then when things hit the fan, where are you? Where is that love? Where's all that stuff that you've been talking? Because I don't see it, you know? So silence speaks real loud. And I think I've posted that on social media a bunch of times. You know, what you don't say says a lot.
Lets me know
Where you stand.
Okay, and the third?
Find a way.
Find a way. I don't remember it all.
Find a way to make a contribution to promote healing, social healing.
But I love the word healing, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I'm going to hang on to that phrase. And the way I interpret that is, okay, so I couldn't run out to the situation in Minnesota. I can't always jump on a plane and take care of these. But guess what? In my neighborhood, in my community, in my church, in my state, that's where I can advocate and do work.
And every act of healing can be magnified just like every act of evil. Mm-hmm. Whenever, you know, and I try to share positive things when I can. If I see a video or instance where perhaps a policeman went out of his way to help a minority, he didn't have to.
Right.
That means a lot. That means a lot. And I know there are a lot of good people. And we need the good people to make sure that they make a stand. And the things that they do, so we can share that, so we can overcome, you know, the book says, overcome evil with good. Mm-hmm. Don't let evil overcome your good. So we can do that. We have the ability to do that. But if all we have is in our faces is to focus on the evil and the injustice, and there's never a correction, then that makes us cynical. That makes us despondent, and that starts creating a narrative that will not allow us to come together, will not allow us to heal each other.
Well, that is my desire, to reach for healing, to reach hard, to reach far, and to reach deep. So I thank you all for the generosity of your time and thoughts and what you put into sharing with us. Do y'all have any last things you want to say?
Well, I'm going to say that I hope my passion wasn't too strong at one point, but, you know, but I am passionate about, you know, not just my people, but people as a whole, you know, and I really believe that there is, you know, that we can come together. It's kind of like the quote I posted today is, we have more in common than we do different, you know. And if we can just believe that and come together, that would be amazing. And I think that sometimes people think that we want something that don't belong to us, but we just really want to be left alone. That's really it. We just really want to be left alone and allowed to live in peace. In peace. That's it. I don't want to have to wake up and wonder if my husband leave the house, if he's coming back, if my children traveling, you know, like we have.
She does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our children are traveling. Are they gonna make it? You know, make it back? And it's not that I try to worry about it, but I have to realize that these are things that are happening in the world.
Right.
And I have to be in our world, and I have to be concerned about my Black men in my life, and not just my husband and my children, but other people that I just know. And then, like I said, the ones that I don't know, you know. I want them to go home to their mamas and daddies and sisters and brothers and their family, wives and all that, you know. So it's just a lot. And as Black people, we are perpetually trying to find healing. We're perpetually patching our own wounds, and you know what I mean? It gets a little heavy to do that.
Well, I want to perpetually reach for healing. I refuse not to believe that there's hope for healing on a deep level. We'll fix the system, but I hope more for healing.
Yeah.
So I thank you all again, and hopefully you'll join us in the future in our series on Crucial Convos. Until then, please stay safe in the pandemic. Y'all be safe. Well, is it still a pandemic?
Yes.
Yes, it's still a pandemic.
It is.
And thank you for having us.
Thank you.
For inviting us.
I am so grateful for your wisdom. I'm so grateful to know you. And we will connect again soon. Until then, God bless.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.